Have you ever found yourself trying to have a conversation with your husband only to be met with silence? You're asking questions, trying to connect, and all you get are one word answers, or worse, nothing at all. It's frustrating to say the least, isn't it? Right? Today, I want to dive into this mystery and uncover the real reason behind your husband's silence. See, when husbands go quiet, it's easy to feel like you've done something wrong or that your relationship is in trouble, right? But what if I told you his silence has a deeper meaning that's not about you? Well, let's get into why your husband isn't talking and what you can do about it. Now, let me just see if I have some things that I want to say that is more or less like you, right? You're a wife who values connection and communication, but lately, your husband's silence is making you feel distant and alone. Okay. Or you're you've wondered if this silence is a sign that something is wrong with your relationship and you're trying to figure out how to bridge the gap. Or you want to understand what's really going on inside his mind so that you can reconnect and strengthen your marriage. Does any of that sound like you? I think you're here because this is what you're here to figure out or try to figure out. And I'm glad that you're here. Now, I'm going to speak to you this issue from basically two different angles. One, as a person who had been married for 39 years plus as of this recording. And I think I can relate somewhat to your husband, and you'll hear why in this video. And secondly, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, having been doing this as well as a certified relationship coach for almost 2 decades, and have listened to wives like you and also some husbands as well who have come alongside their wife into a session or whether it's coaching or a counseling session. So I think these two things give me some insight and have some advantage, and I think you would agree with that. Now, why is he silent? It's not about you. I say, well, Kingsley, come on. What do you mean it's not about me? Well, I think that your husband goes silent, like I have heard from so many other husbands, and I myself have found to be true in my life at times. It's natural to wonder when that happens if there's something you did. But most of the time, his silence has little to do with you. You are probably surprised to hear me say that, right? But stick with me for this video, and you're going to see why I'm saying these things. Husbands often go quiet because of internal struggles like stress, anxiety, or simply feeling overwhelmed. Now, this doesn't mean it's true in all husband situation, but I think a majority that I've spoken to, and I know myself, this is one of the main reasons. Now, here is, I think, what's very important to also remember is that your husband is possibly doing the things that he believed that God would have him do in times like this, right? Maybe he's trying to follow the scripture in James 1, verse 19 that says, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. Could it be possible that your husband is trying to do that as well? So sometimes his silence is his way of following this scripture. He is trying to be slow to speak, not because he doesn't care, or it doesn't mean he doesn't have anything to say, but because he wants to avoid making things worse. What if that was the case? Could it be possible in your relationship? Secondly, his silence is protection, not rejection. So he's avoiding a fight. Your husband might be staying silent because he's trying to avoid an argument. It's not that he doesn't care, but Rather, he's afraid that if he says the wrong thing, it could make the situation worse. So instead, he chooses silence. He's advocating for the relationship. He's truly trying to make things better. Now, think of it like a pressure cooker. And maybe you've had your experience with pressure cookers, so you understand this metaphor pretty well. So think of it like a pressure cooker. Instead of letting everything explode, he's releasing the steam slowly, trying to cool down. And again, what if that's what he's trying to do? Maybe he's also following this biblical insight or principle where Proverbs 15, verse 1, it says, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Again, suppose your husband is trying to adhere to this biblical principle. I mean, he may be quiet because he's trying to ensure he doesn't react harshly in a moment of frustration. So I think if you could think of your husband trying to do these things, it might make things different, wouldn't it? Here's a third thing I want to mention, and that is your husband possibly is overwhelmed. And maybe as most men, most husbands have an issue with vulnerability. It's not easy for him to open up. This is true of many husbands, many men, right? So maybe he's feeling overwhelmed. Let's start with that. Your husband might be silent because he's overwhelmed with stress, particularly if he's balancing work and building a side business. And I know what that's like firsthand and what that's looked like. And he may feel he doesn't have the emotional energy to communicate at this moment because he may have had one of those days and trying to work things out, trying to figure things out, trying to figure out how can he be successful and the urgency of the matter, right? And also the fear of vulnerability. For some husbands, opening up is scary. I mean, it is, right? They worry that expressing their emotions could make them appear weak, or they might be afraid of rejection. And I cannot tell you how many husbands have talked about this part about the rejection idea, that what they're trying to share and what they might trying to communicate may be met with rejection, or it may be met with an argument or a lecture or any of those kind of things. So they just choose not to be vulnerable at this moment. So I would suggest then you approach your husband with empathy and ask open-ended questions like, what's been on your mind lately? Could be one of those questions. Or how can I support you during this busy season? What if you were to approach him that way? Sometimes the most powerful words are the ones unspoken. Your husband's silence might be his way of processing before he can share. And possibly that's what your husband is doing, and you're misinterpreting what he is trying to do. Number 4. So how to approach him with empathy, not frustration. Well, it's going to require a perspective shift. Understanding that his silence is a form of restraint and protection rather than stonewalling can help you approach him with empathy. If you are able to look at that through that lens and that filter, it would change the way you approach your husband. Recognize that he is not trying to reject you. It's not about rejecting you. It's his way of managing his emotions. He knows that if he does not manage his emotion and practice the fruit of the spirit, which is self-control, he could say things and do things in an aggressive way that may be more harmful than anything else and helpful. So he's very careful and be thinking about that. So give him space to process. You say, Kings, I've done that. Well, maybe the space you're giving him may not be the one that you have actually talked to him about that he would prefer. Maybe you decided to think you're giving him space, but it was not mutually discussed, right? But give him space to process, but also gently let him know you're there. When he's ready to talk, a simple, I'm here when you're ready, can go a long way. I cannot tell you how many times my wife have indirectly or non-verbally communicated that to me. And basically I kind of know what it is when she does that. And she just simply said, I'm gonna give you your space. And when you're ready, I know you'll speak because, imagine 39 years of marriage, she kind of know me to some degree. I wouldn't say she knows me 100% because every single day I'm growing, she's growing. So we are changing. We're going through our own growth process. So I would not say that she is going to conclude she knows me and then just act as if she knows how I'm thinking. No, that's a dangerous place to be, and that's for another video. And I'll do something on that in the future. Well, actually, I have a boot camp, Happier Marriage by Design, where I'll be talking more about these things in that program. And if you have not yet signed up for that, make sure you go to buildyourhappiermarriage.com/wait list and get on the wait list. And I have the link inside below in this video. And by the way, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, you want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now and hit that thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate that even right now. Now, empathy leads to stronger connection. By understanding the deeper reasons behind your husband's silence, you can approach the situation with more compassion, wouldn't you? Couldn't you? See, this approach, what it does, it's following biblical principle of being slow to speak and quick to listen. James 1:19, you heard me just mention that a few minutes ago, creating the opportunity for a deeper and more fulfilling marriage. Remember the scripture in 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4, where it says, love is patient, love is kind. And this is what you're doing. Patience in these moments is crucial to building a happier, healthier, and longer lasting marriage. I can tell you from experience, almost 40 years of marriage. So I think I've learned some things along the way, and my wife has as well in our journey. Has it been perfect? No. Have we had our roadblocks and our times like this? Yes. And I'm telling you, this is not new. It's not like you're the only person. I believe that many other people, not believe, I know this, have experienced what it is you're experiencing and have navigated this with this idea of 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4, love is patient and love is kind. And so here's a practical step. I want to encourage you to focus on creating a safe space for him to open up in his own time. And your relationship will, I guarantee, will flourish as you work through these challenges together. Because I know from my own experience and also from a professional standpoint as well. Now, I want to encourage you to really think about this, pray about this, and see what may come as a result of this, because I think this could be a game changer for you. And again, I would love to hear from you in the comment section below what your thoughts are about what you've just heard in this video. Now, if this video has helped you understand your husband's silence better, I'd love for you to share your experience in the comments and how you have handled moments when he's gone quiet. Or I'd love to hear that. We would love as a community to read and to hear that as well. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up. And also remember that if you're ready to dive deeper into improving communication in your marriage, not only join the wait list at buildyourhappiermarriage.com/waitlist. Again, the link will be below. But don't miss my next video where we'll talk about how to rebuild connection after a season of silence. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that. Again, I want to say thank you for taking the time to listen, to watch. Please share this with one other person. And I would love to see that you're doing that. And thank you for taking the time, and make sure you're watching this other video right here. And God bless you as you do so. And remember, you are one communication skill away from a happier, healthier, and longer lasting marriage. God bless you. And I'll see you then on the next video. I want to leave you with the scripture verse in Psalm 127, verse 1. Unless the Lord builds a house, the builders labor in vain. So I want to encourage you to think about that, pray about that, and I'll see you on the next video. Make sure you watch this other video right here. God bless.